Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura, and we got some new minis starting this week. The way these are sculpted it's a little confusing to me as to what they're supposed to be, so I'm going with ghouls. I think is what I put I think that's what I put in the title. And they came with no integral bases on them, so just needed to give them a little bit more extra structure to go with, so they don't just easily break off or fall off. There we go. That's where the camera is. Trying to get it kind of so that the black base isn't showing under the feet here. And then kind of smoothing it out a bit. I find it kind of creates a bit more realistic layer for the basing in the future. Some unevenness. Unless of course you're gonna like do like cobblestone or something, you know, in which case you might as well get some green stuff instead. And then there we go. Go ahead and clean off these areas, or at least like get it so that it's matching the rest of the mini. For the most part, I want to get it off though, because I will be. I am just going to go ahead and start painting them. I just won't paint the base or do anything else with the base. You can see I have gotten this actually glued on. And I would have done this part over the weekend as well. I was actually gone this past weekend. And that's part of the reason that I didn't. There's for those of you who are on my Patreon, notice that I did not get to doing a paint along live stream, which means there's not going to be a paint along on YouTube this week. Part of it is also that I was more exhausted than I realized I would be from taking my son to the pool. I'll try and do it actually in the morning on Friday. So, paint along live stream, that is, so that we get back on track with that. I'll be going out of town again this will be for our anniversary. And we are for sure leaving Friday. This past weekend we didn't leave. We were only gone Saturday, Sunday. And that was for a class reunion. It wasn't too bad. I didn't really know what to expect, so. It was a small group. It was smallish. But then it was also in a small room, so it still got pretty loud. So I had to put in my loop earbuds. So it's to help not get like too overwhelmed. Hey there, Kodiak. How's it going? I also saw that Roleplay Press sent out some like playtest material for the Althea Dragon campaign world setting book. So that was part of the Kickstarter, was unlocking a new subclass for each class. So, and then there's also some new feats and playable species, or whatever, races, whatever. New items and new spells. So, I'm not one that can like just look at that and be like, think through like, oh yeah, I foresee this being a problem or and whatnot. So I'm gonna see if I can get some friends together to just do like a one shot or something. And do it like a level 14. That way it kind of gives a way to play test, yeah, you know, all of the new things for at least some of the new subclasses they've got. And then I'll probably also go over it with my husband, because he is pretty good about being able to look at that and think ahead of like how something would play out. And possible tweaks or something. All right. See how this goes of going ahead and working on the mini itself while the base is drying / curing. And that was Liquitex, this white stuff I was doing, that's Liquitex flexible modeling paste. It's kind of nice since it is flexible that sometimes it can help getting something a bit more glued in, I guess, so that I can then use green stuff, you know, other things that are more sturdy once they cure. So like especially right now, as I need to get some new drill bits to be able to pin anything. So I basically can't do any pinning until I get some new drill bits. So if there's anything that comes up where I would need that, then I've found that this is a good, you know, getting like super glue and the Liquitex to kind of hold it get it to at least stay in place. And then pulling out the green stuff. To make it a bit more sturdy. Assuming it's something I don't want to be kind of more flexible or bendy. Because if I don't do green stuff, then like technically you could just stick with the flexible modeling in place, but it will it has a little bit of a give still, even when it's fully cured. Hence flexible modeling paste. So, I mean, things like staffs, or weapons, you don't want to be flexible. There's probably like other better options, or just in general other ways to do the same thing. It's just what I found is easy for me and what I have on hand. I got my paints in on Friday, so I had fun kind of thinking through what I was going to do with paint racks, because I think I didn't want to just go and buy more paint racks just to like temporarily be able to fit everything. I think the amount I have is like the right amount. And still have like a really good selection of paints. So I just kind of pared down the old paints to like decided which colors I go ahead and keep out, and then if there was other colors that were pretty similar, then I put them in a box. And then, as I use up those colors that are similar, then I pull out some of the similar colors out of the box and keep using them up. But then be able to have the new paints displayed. But I am thinking I'll do like a little it won't be like a literal unboxing, but I've got some like acrylic paper. It's meant to be basically painted on with acrylics. It's just really thick and whatnot. And then go through and kind of show how it acts out of the bottle. At least on acrylic paper. I haven't decided yet if that would be like if I would just like record me doing that and then post it on my YouTube. I guess that's what I've done before as far as like the unboxing type video. But since I'm not doing like a really literal straight up unboxing, it'd be more of like just showing off the paints and how they act out of the bottle. I mean, maybe I'd show what it looks like inside the box. But yeah, I'm almost thinking like maybe it could just be just some little bonus live stream or something. They do still have the pledge manager open from what I hear. This is Reaper's remastered MSP Kickstarter that I'm talking about. I got in on wave 1. I did the complete set, and then I also got one set of bottle toppers and added in a Da Vinci brush size 1. I'll probably eventually, once they put the bottle toppers on retail, then I'll buy more kind of slowly over time. I know they said that they do plan to get those into retail. I don't know if they're gonna automatically put all of them up. So then they also started making kind of some like fun extra ones. And I don't remember if maybe those were gonna be more of like an exclusive or not, or I don't know. I don't remember. But I know some of the bottle toppers will be going up. Which that was something I kind of kept mentioning. I thought as like a fun, cool idea. So I'm glad that they. Cause I mean, it's kind of like just another mini, really, that they're putting out. Just you have to work out the engineering so that it actually fits their bottle caps and isn't too wide or anything that it would cause problems on paint racks or paint shelves and stuff. Hi there, McKay. From Gibraltar. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Mm. The paints I'm using now are their old MSP paints. So I will still use those up. So it was, I mean, it was still a good line of paints. Okay. This one in particular I accidentally knocked it right against the mini, and so it did actually fall off or come off. So that one I probably will just let fully cure and leave it alone for now. So we'll go ahead and move on to actually painting some stuff. We'll do the skin first, since that's like most of the mini here. And I'm gonna paint the skin first, and then on these areas where we definitely see their skeletal structure, I'm gonna come back with the skeleton color, and I'm gonna see about how it works to maybe just glaze like one of the skin colors back over that to kind of make it look like it's the skin is being stretched. And we're to the point where that we're starting to see the skeletal structure underneath. And you can see the mixes that I got here. Those are all made from these three. This one's Rogue Shadow. It was in a fast palette. So I don't think you can get it. Pretty sure you can't get it anymore on their store, but I had found it at a local shop. I have found mixing a little bit of blood red into brown liner though is like pretty similar, because it is just basically a dark reddish brown. It's not staying focused. Okay, I'm gonna wait to glaze this. Since I'm gonna go ahead and later plan to glaze over the bone, the skin color. So I might as well just do the glazing all at once, because the glazing will also help blend the skin as well. will say it's kind of nice. Like, this isn't necessarily like a different palette. It's still like a very muted out green of sorts, but it's just a simpler minis. The details are simpler. That orc barbarian had some pretty ornate details in some areas. So that was another thing I didn't get to was posting it on eBay. I did get the pictures and the video needed. So that is on the to-do list. But I will post about it once I do get a listing up for it. If you're curious about it or would like to add a orc barbarian that is painted to your collection, then yes. I'll likely post it on Instagram. Facebook. And I'll share it to like the next stream as well in the chat. I mean, anytime that I have an active listing when I stream, I will share it in the chat as well. I'll post the link tree that you can see where all else I'm at as far as social media. But as far as getting an update about when I post, excuse me, oh goodness. I was talking way too much this weekend, trying to talk over noise and such. And coffee is probably not helping. Anyway, yeah. Instagram or Facebook. I guess technically I do have Threads. I don't really pay attention to it, and I kind of have it so that the Instagram stuff just instantly posts to it. That's true of that's technically true of the Facebook, and that what I post on Instagram is set to automatically post to Facebook. But I do actually check my Facebook on occasion. Actually, more than on occasion. I check it about as regularly because I do go on Facebook and check that. But Threads, TikTok are ones that I don't stay on top of as much, but I am on there if that's where you want to find me. That's not going to be where you're going to find like announcements or updates, especially TikTok. I tried out kind of doing like a work in progress video, and it was kind of not something I was excited about, and it was difficult to kind of get it to be a short enough video, really. Since I am not a fast painter, and still kind of a long video even for like speeding up the video. So when I remember, I post like finished minis. So I did get the video that I'd taken already of the orc up there, up on my TikTok. I think I already posted it on my Instagram too. I also am open for commissions. It's probably what I would really love to do, is to be able to get a steady stream of commissions. I love being able to kind of curate, I guess would be the word, a custom paint job for someone. I think that's fun, actually. In the meantime, I just do things like this where I paint some minis specifically to sell on eBay, and even though it's not a custom paint job, it's hopefully going to someone who really likes the paint job and the color scheme and is gonna enjoy using it in their game, or I guess whatever reason they're buying it, you know. Most of the time I'm with these paint to sell minis, I'm painting them like pretty much just, you know, slightly above tabletop expectations. You know, I'm obviously not doing this what's called the slap chop, where I just use speed paints or base coat and do a wash over top. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're trying to get a bunch of minis just to use, that's the reason that's a method, is because it does help get minis done quick and are painted. I enjoy doing this kind of where it could still be finessed more, you know, but it's still like a bit more. This will probably be the last one that we get done, but we got a pretty good amount. There's 3 out of the 5. One of them we didn't even base coat, since that was one that, as I mentioned, I had accidentally just knocked it pretty hard, really. And so it, since it's just by their little feet here that they're glued on, or were glued on, it just came off like that. Because I usually just use super glue. But the problem is the faster that, you know, the glue sets, the less, I think, like the strength of the hold of the glue decreases. Like my understanding is it's a natural trade-off with adhesives. So if there's chemical engineers out there watching who know more about it, feel free to correct me. I probably could double check my understanding with a former college roommate, because she did it ended up being a master's in chemical engineering. It wasn't adhesives was not what she was interested in, even though that's kind of what a lot of the jobs were in the nearby vicinity for chemical engineers. So it was like 3M is a big one around here, I guess. I kind of vaguely remember her talking about that, and what her options were once she graduated. That was a while ago. I have not kept up very well with that person, so it would be a little bit weird for me to out of the blue be like, so, I have a question about adhesives. Oh, by the way, hi. Okay, so like I mentioned, we are going to still do a glaze at some point. But my plan is I want to make this look like there's still actually skin, like that it's just stretched really quite a bit to where you can see the skeleton or skeletal structure here. So I'll paint the bone. I'll do like a regular buildup of bone colors, and then I will glaze with the skin once it dries. That's my plan. I'm not entirely sure if that's like the way to do it or how others who are experienced do it, but I feel like that's probably good. I mean, yeah. So anyway, we'll stop there. Where is it? Here. Thursday also is a new mini day. So we'll be doing this gal. She is. I'll be kind of thinking of her as like a fighter, but definitely obviously stealthy. It'll be for kind of an NPC. Well, one of the characters in my campaign's already met her briefly, but she'll be kind of like a key ally of sorts for the campaign. So if it seems like if it makes sense for the story, then she'll come in and play a part. I don't want to necessarily plan on just always bringing her in to like swoop down and save the PCs. I do want them to feel like there's a sense of real danger that their character could die, which has happened a few times already. Almost dying. They haven't actually died. But yes, so we'll get started on this character. So I do have some ideas in mind of colors. She will be blonde, kind of pale, rosy skin, I think. And then I think a green cloak as well. Greens and browns, probably. So yeah, it'll be Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Central. So it's a different time than this morning's. But yes. So yeah, we got good start on these guys today. So I hope to see you Thursday, and thanks again for stopping by and lurking or chatting for those who did chat. And I'll see you Thursday. Bye.